What's up, guys? Welcome to Bet the Day for May 13th, 2022. Hope everyone's doing well and hope everyone is ready to make some money here at the channel, guys. Great day yesterday. Unreal day yesterday. A lot of people took advantage of it. A lot of people made some money, so that was very, very good to see. So we're going to talk about that in a minute here. But before we get into it, guys, going to let some people file in here on TikTok, let some people file in on here on YouTube and talk about subscribing. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on TikTok, guys, head over to YouTube. Please subscribe. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, go to TikTok, subscribe to us there, guys. Every link is in the description. If you're on YouTube, you got the link right there in the description. If you're on TikTok, links in the bio. Also, free Discord, guys. Join our free Discord. We gained like 100 members this morning, right? It's going to the freaking moon. That's number one place to find my picks, get other picks from people in our community and also our other content creators. So make sure you check that out. And then finally, we have merchandise, guys. We have merch. We're working hard here. We're not charging for anything, guys. All we ask, consume our content, guys. Go pick out a t-shirt if you like the t-shirts. If you're watching on YouTube right now, we have 3 Team Parlay Sports t-shirts and Bet the Day t-shirts. So logos are up in the corner there. You can check out what those look like right now. And also on top of that, guys, we got a lot of other fun merch coming. So make sure you check that out, bookmark that link, and let's get into it. Let's go Pirates today. I already got the comments rolling in here. Marlins over 2.5. Pirates run line. Reds, Pirates under 8, Rays over 2.5, Rays money line, White Sox over 2. Got a big play there. Big play there from Everett Appleby. Gotta love it. Everett, thanks for joining the show. Every day Everett's on here. I love that. Alex coming in here. What's up? How we doing? Saw the guy who tailed your picks and won $7,000. Huge. I tailed your NBA picks. Brilliant day yesterday. It was a hell of a day. And honestly, when I look at the NBA games yesterday, it was kind of surprising to me that the Mavericks played as good as they did. I don't know if it was that the Mavericks played super great. Like they did. They were really good. But the Suns also played horrendous. So that definitely helped us cover there. You look at the Heat game. I fully expected the Heat come out and roll. Everyone was asking me. A lot of people, messaged me yesterday and said, "Hey, what's your number one bet? What's your best bet of the day?" I said it's Heat plus 2.5. I love the Heat today. Take them on the money line as well because they had that experience in Philadelphia. I didn't think they were going to be as bad as they have been in Philadelphia, and they stepped up. Obviously, they shot 48% from the field. They're pretty damn good. They did not shoot well from the three-point line, so that was surprising. But at the same time, too, the Sixers didn't step up. James Harden was atrocious when it came to turn the ball over. Not as bad as what we saw from the Suns and Devin Booker and Chris Paul, but still, Sixers made a lot of mistakes last night. Can the Celtics win the series? One game at a time for the Boston Celtics. One game at a time. That's my thought process there. One game at a time. They got to win tonight. And you know what? They've proven they can go on the road to Milwaukee and win a basketball game. So I'm not super nervous. We saw the Bruins last night. Boston's going to fight, right? The whole city of Boston filled with fighters, people. Bruins come out. Huge win last night for them. I think the Celtics can do the same tonight and force a game 7. A lot of game 7s were forced last night. Except if you're the Minnesota Wild. They just folded, right? And the St. Louis Blues are on to the next round in the NHL playoffs. So anyways, guys, a couple things before we get into my picks today, before we get into the recap. We're going to have Grant Mitchell on the show. He will be here in about 10 minutes. We're going to talk to him, break down the NBA playoffs as we do every single Friday. I know a lot of people love Grant on TikTok. I know a lot of people love Grant on YouTube. So we will break that down here when he gets on. Got some comments rolling in here. I like the under on the Celtics game. I do like the unders. Last night too, I was feeling really good. Like I didn't play the over in the Sixers game, but I was feeling really good about that over going to half. And then, one team falls apart, right? Same thing with the Mavericks, right? The Mavericks stepped up. The Suns fell apart, right? So the overs are tough because you need 2 teams to contribute throughout the whole game. So even if they look good at the half, they might not look good for the full game. Comments are flying in here, people. Let's see. Folded like a cheap launch here. Who folded like a cheap launch here? What do I think of Blues Avalanche series? I haven't really even looked at it yet. I think it's going to be one hell of a series. I like the Avalanche. So I think it's the Avs here, honestly. I think they're going to be pretty good. When do you post your picks for the day? I need some locks you demand. Well, we start here. We do our show at 10 a.m., guys, and then we come in. I usually post picks after the show, depending on games. Like all baseball start times are late today, so I'll post picks after the show. I post them on here as well. We talk throughout the whole show. A lot of people watch this whole show, which I love. Celtics money line, lock it up. I love that. I'm on the Celtics tonight too. The public will be on the Celtics, but the sharp play is probably Milwaukee. I wouldn't say that. I mean, there's really with the way the spread works tonight, it's 1.5 either way. So it's like you're going to pick the better team, right? Like in plus money wise, like you're going to get Celtics money line at plus 102 today. That's not like if you like the Bucks, like I'll bet a number if I like a number, right? But there's not really a number in that game that makes me lean one way. I'm going to pick the team that I feel is going to win. Is it a homer pick? Could be. Who knows? But you know what? I'm going to ride with the Boston Celtics tonight. And Grant's going to join us here in a minute to talk about that as soon as we recap our hockey and our baseball from yesterday. The Wild didn't fold. The Wild are just the biggest pretenders in the history of sports. Every Minnesota sports franchise is filled with pretenders, right? And we look at what happened. Kirill Kaprizov needed to start the charge last night. He didn't do that. And on Ty, I don't want to blame him because hockey's a team sport, but the Blues just beat them up this entire series, people. Come on now. The Blues won 3 straight games. What, 15? They outscored them 15-5 in the past 3 games? Come on. You called it. Wild. Good shit. Appreciate that. To pick them. Warriors, Grizzlies under bulletproof. We're going to have all these NBA questions answered when Grant joins the show here. Happy Friday the 13th. Wow. That's rough. Friday the 13th. You know what? We don't care about that here. We win money. Okay, comments rolling here on YouTube. Douglas E. Doodle wants to know if you had a big, hearty hog belly breakfast, and he wants to know if you had a big belly wash to drink. I'm locked in today. Matthew Markland, Douglas E. Doodle. Tell him that. All right, so we're going to talk about basketball when Grant joins the show here, but I want to quickly recap NHL, quickly recap MLB, because a lot of people were not high on the Reds yesterday, and you know what? The Reds are money wagons now. That's what I'll say. Celtics are not losing. Everyone came on here yesterday and said, oh, Bees are going to lose. I'm a realistic Boston fan, people. I'm realistic. I think the Bruins will lose Game 7. Probably will not bet it because of that, but I think they will lose Game 7. The Celtics, this is anyone's game. Grant's going to come on here and say Bucks and 6. I know he is today, but we're not gonna listen to him in that regard. Okay, Hurricanes, Bruins. Bruins stepped up 5-2. You know who's been really underrated star in the series? Charlie Coyle. I mean, Charlie Coyle, talk about being fantastic. He was money last night, 2 points. Along with Marchand had 2 points. Jeremy Swayman, fantastic again at home. Swayman is the ticket. He is the ticket. He needs to go to Carolina, though, and step up big. And I don't know if the Bruins are going to be able to do it. I'm hoping they can, but we will see. Reds are back. You know what? The Reds never left. That's my challenge to that. The Reds never left. I'm kidding about that. They were horrendous. But you know what? The Reds are hitting the baseball right now. That's what it comes down to. Good teams win, great teams cover, and the Reds are hitting the baseball, and that's why they're able to cover, guys. Okay. So, yeah, can they go on the road? Boston had 34 shots compared to 25. They were fantastic killing power plays last night. Carolina had 6 tries on the power play. They only converted 1 time. That's huge. You can't win like that. But I'll say this right now. Does that stat really scare me going into the next game in Carolina? Yes, it does. Because if Carolina gets 6 power plays at home, I guarantee they're going to convert more than once. Who y'all baseball picks this afternoon? I'll have baseball out in a little bit later, guys. We'll finish up talking about this and we'll move into basketball. Lightning money line, great win in overtime last night. Andre Vasilevsky stepped up big. Tavares had 2 goals. Braden Point finished it off in OT for them, so that was nice to see. When it went to overtime, I was nervous because the end of that third period there, I felt really, really scared because I thought Toronto was going to lock it in and get a goal in on Vasilevsky with like less than a minute left. That would have sucked. Obviously, didn't happen. Tampa Bay got the job done there, so good stuff. Wild versus Blues last night. As I said, Blues beat a fraudulent hockey team. No, I haven't talked to any NBA. Grant's about to join the show here in a minute. We're just recapping, finishing. Would I bet the Reds today? I don't know if I would bet the Reds for -108. I liked them for plus money yesterday, but they're bound to lose at some point. So that's my take on that. Lightning almost choked. They did almost choke. And they're not as good as the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like I'll say that. And I'm going to bet the Maple Leafs next game. I'm going to bet them in Game 7. And then, Kirill Kaprizov didn't do anything. -2 in the plus-minus. Blues outscored them 15-5 in the past 3 games. The Wild were in every position to win this series. They just didn't do it because they're a fraudulent hockey team. Reds money line versus the Pirates. Connor Overton shoved 6.1. No earned. Awesome day from him. They won 4-0, right? Reds were 3-9 with runners in scoring position, and they have now scored 53 runs in their past 7 games. Picture that. Dylan Cease over 6.5 Ks. He had 11 last night. Now, this is crazy. I want you to get your guys' opinion on this. Dylan Cease literally went 4 innings, right? He struck out 14 batters, but he gave up 4. The Yankees hit 4 bombs, right? No, New York hit 4 bombs. They struck out 14 times overall. But Dylan Cease, as far as he goes, he went 4 innings. He gave up 6 earned. He still had 11 punchies. That's how New York plays. If they can hit home runs, they're going to be fine. But on top of that, they strike out a lot. So bet the over on pitcher strikeout totals against the Yankees. All right, comments rolling in here. Flames today. I like the Flames, but we'll talk about that a little later. Grizzlies. I got a solid NBA stat for Grizzlies Warriors. Save that till Grant gets on the show, which he's coming on right about now. Killer picks yesterday. I tailed. Let's run it back today. Whoop, whoop. I love that. We'll get to these comments, and we'll bring Grant on the show here. We got Alex coming in here. Reds are back. We talked about that. NHL being good to me. Felt like Lightning were going to lose yesterday, but they came through. I did too. The end of that game was very, very tight, but you know what? They found a way to win, and that's what matters. And that's exactly what Grant Mitchell does on Fridays here on the show. Grant Mitchell Fridays, G Money Fridays, as we're going to now coin them. So Grant is an NBA journalist over at the Sports 2.0 Network, also does some writing for Sons of Saturday, covering Virginia Tech. So happy to welcome him to the show. Grant Mitchell, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing good, Tanner. I think that was the warmest welcome that you've given me so far. That was actually genuine.
We're friends now. When we used to do shows together, because me and Grant used to do a show called Parlay Power Hour together, and we weren't really friendly on that. We just fought every day. But now we're friends, and it's all good, and everyone's happy. So, Grant, it's an excellent day of basketball day. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, Tanner. And you know why? Because the Dallas Mavericks won last night. All these people out there tell me the Phoenix Suns are going to sweep them. We're going 7 games, just like I said.
Yeah, Alex coming in here. Grant is back on YouTube. Got the comments rolling in on TikTok. Grant is back. That Mavericks game was very surprising, and I want to start with the Heat first, but I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked when I saw how bad the Mavericks beat them up. So first of all, just give me your opinion on that before we talk about the Heat, and then we'll move into the Mavericks game.
Yeah, so this Mavericks game has been, the Mavericks Suns game, the series as a whole has been very home dominant, right? The home team has won, and they've tended to win big. Phoenix has been better at home, but I mean, you can't take away what the Mavericks have done, especially last night. That was a closeout game. If the Suns win that game, they are in the Western Conference Finals, where they're going to be favored against the Grizzlies or the Warriors, whoever wins that series. And you feel like it's the same in both conferences, right? Whoever wins the Bucks Celtics series probably going to the finals. Whoever wins the Suns Mavericks series probably going to the finals, especially if it is the Suns. So realistically, Phoenix is going in thinking we need to win 1 game to make the NBA Finals. And they got demolished. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't a weird game where, every role player on the Mavericks dropped 20 points. Luka outperformed Chris Paul and Devin Booker combined. So I know the home team has won big in the series, and we're going back to Phoenix, but there's definitely something to be scared about if you're a Phoenix bettor.
Yeah, you know what? We'll stay on Suns Mavs because why not? There's not a lot to talk about in this game besides the Mavericks showing up and the Suns not. And I really want to spend a little time on the Heat game because you sent me some great stats yesterday that I want to go over comparing Ben Simmons to James Harden. But anyways, the stat that shocked me the most when I look back at the box score in this game, Devin Booker turns the ball over 8 times, obviously doesn't score 20 points. Paul turned it over 5 times. That's 14 or 13 turnovers between the two of them. And then on top of that, I thought James Harden had a bad night for the Sixers. He turned the ball over 4 times. And I was watching that game. I'm like, this man sucks. And then you go see what Booker and Paul did in the late game. They were even worse turning the ball over. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Tanner, the playoffs are defined by a couple different things, and it's very different from the regular season. You have this idea of what good stats look like. In a lot of ways, that kind of goes out the window because the best player on your team can shoot 40% in a playoff series, and he can be pivotal. He can be the reason you win. Efficiency isn't as important because defense is ramped up. Scores tend to come down. Stars take over in clutch moments. It's different sort of, situational moments that you look for. But the one thing that doesn't change is that turnovers are killer, regular season and playoffs. And Harden with his 4, but especially Booker with his 8. And Chris Paul, who's supposed to be the model of consistency. This is one of the best assist to turnover ratio guys in NBA history, the point god, a floor general. He's looking foolish out there. He's been completely disrupted by the Mavericks perimeter defense. A lot of times his assists are coming down and his turnovers are going up. So if I'm picking one player that I think bears the most responsibility for it going game 7 right now, it has to be Chris Paul.
100%. I've said it all along too. When you look at the Mavericks and we talk about turnovers in the playoffs, right? Team basketball is what wins games. So Luka had 33, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Jalen Brunson came in with 18. Reggie Bullock had 19. Then you got Dinwiddie dropping 15 on the bench in 21 minutes. I mean, that's hard to beat when you look at how bad the Suns were as a team. And the crazy thing to me is the Suns were shooting 60% plus from the field early in the series. Even in the games they've won at home, their shooting percentage has declined a little bit there. I mean, they were 33% from three-point land, 39.7% from the field as a team. You can't win like that.
No, and a lot of credit goes to Dallas Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd for the defensive adjustments that he's made. First of all, he's got Reggie Bullock picking up Chris Paul 94 feet now, which is really good. I mean, they have Jalen Brunson guarding Jay Crowder. That's a 6 foot, maybe point guard guarding a supposed power forward. We're in this positionalist era of the NBA. And Crowder, he's a good player, but he's not going to blow by anybody. So Kidd said, hey, who really cares if he has 7 inches of advantage over here? It's not like he's going to the cup anyway. We can just let him sit outside and Brunson will contest those shots. And on top of that, their pick and roll switching they've done a really good job hedging, getting in front of those guys, stopping them from getting downhill, going to the mid-range, which for Booker and Chris Paul is the key to both of their games. So Jason Kidd is out-coaching the coach of the year in Monty Williams, in my opinion, right now. And granted, we still have a Game 7 where that could change, but as much as I want to say Luka's been sensational, and he has, Jason Kidd is the reason this is going to a Game 7.
Oh, 100%. Now, in Game 7, who do you got? Who do you think takes it? Now, we talk about the home team dominating, right? It's going to be back in Phoenix. Could be a tough one for the Mavs. What do you think?
It absolutely could be a tough one for the Mavs. Before this series started, I said the Mavericks were going to win in 7 games. Yesterday, I sent a message to a couple of my fellow Virginia Tech guys, and I said, I am supremely confident the Mavericks win Game 6, and I am not confident at all that they win Game 7. I think it's a total 50-50. I do not think we're headed for a blowout. I think it's going to go down to the wire. Betting against the Suns is hard because they were the best team in the NBA in crunch time. They're also, I believe, 51 or 52-0 when entering the fourth quarter with a lead. So it's going to be super hard for me to bet against them simply because I'm bullheaded. I'm probably going to be taking the Mavs because I want to prove myself right. But in all honesty, if I'm a neutral bettor, I'm probably staying away. Like, it's way too close to call for me.
100%. Now, they're 6-point underdogs right now. I have PTSD from that 6-point spread the last time when they were in Phoenix because that did not go well for me. But I think 6 points in Game 7, the way the Mavericks are playing as a team, they know what it's going to be like to play in Phoenix. They just got to shoot better. They got to play better as a team. If they do that, I think they can cover 6, win the game. That's a different story. But 6 is a big enough spread where I'm comfortable that they can. I'm confident they can be within 6 points and win or lose that game. I mean, as long as they can keep it close. Just like I thought the other night with the, I took Bucks 4.5, and I'm like, this might be perfect, or Bucks 5.5. This might be perfect. They might cover, and the Celtics might win the game. Obviously, that didn't happen. We'll talk about that series in a minute there. But Heat plus 2.5 last night. This was like the lock of the century for me, Grant. A lot of people messaged me yesterday and said, hey, what's your biggest bet? What's your lock of the day? I'm like, Heat plus 2.5. And they're like, nah, I'm all on the Sixers. I don't know how anyone watched this series and thought that the Sixers were better than the Heat. In no world were the Sixers better than the Heat, in my opinion. I feel like you think the same thing.
Yeah, I do. And I want to say, I wouldn't normally say this about a star player, especially one who's injured or, whatever circumstance going on. If you're out there, you're playing, right? We judge you for what you are. But let's be totally honest. The Sixers had no hope until Joel Embiid came back. Comes back with a broken face and a torn ligament in his shooting hand and a concussion. Does all he can. They win the next 2 games. He averages, I want to say, 24 and 11. He was really inefficient, but, A, it's the playoffs, and B, this is a guy whose skill is predicated, or I should say, his talent is predicated around being able to impose himself physically. If you have a broken face, you're going to be shying away from the contact a bit. So the fact his efficiency was down is understandable. He was still putting up good numbers. James Harden, and I'm sure you're ready to launch on this too, wasn't even attempting to put up big numbers. And we can look back at this. How did he even land in Philadelphia in the first place? The Sixers traded Ben Simmons and a couple other role players for Harden because they wanted a guy who could fly next to Embiid in those crunch moments, who could take over in clutch time, who was not afraid to take and make big shots. This is a James Harden that is a former league MVP, former finals appearance long time ago. It seems like it was pre-modern history at this point. Former scoring title, assist title. He goes out there and scores 11 points. He takes 9 shots in a closeout game when he was attempting 15.5 per game in the regular season. He didn't score a point in the fourth quarter of the final 2 games. He took 2 shots in the fourth quarters of each of the last 2 games. Both of those, the points and shot attempts, were lower than Ben Simmons. Now, Ben Simmons got crucified for passing up an open dunk with Trae Young next to him, but at least he scored 3 points in that fourth quarter. Harden scored nothing. And we had a conversation last week, I think, about how do you pay Harden? How do you pay him the max with how he's playing? We're in an entirely new region of that conversation. Now we're not talking about paying him the max. Now we're talking about, do you want to re-sign James Harden on your team? He was outplayed by undrafted guards from the Miami Heat named Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. It's just completely inexcusable. I'm sorry I'm taking up your shine here, but the fact that the 76ers lost that series, okay, that's one thing. The fact James Harden was unrecognizable, wasn't even trying in a closeout game, it's unforgivable. If I'm Doc Rivers or Elton Brand, the powers that be within Philadelphia's organization, I am attempting to trade him this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, Strus had 20 points, 11 rebounds. He was pretty damn good in one of his best games of the series by far. But you brought the stats to my attention, James Harden being related to Ben Simmons. And last night, if you look at the box score, right, Harden obviously was efficient from the field. He turned the ball over, but he didn't shoot in the fourth quarter. Like he was afraid to shoot. Why did we get James Harden, Houston Harden, in game 4, sealing the deal for the Sixers? And now he's back at home in game 6 and he doesn't do anything. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't know if you listened to the post-game interview, but Joel Embiid said, I think everybody thought when we got Harden, he was going to be that Houston Harden, but he's an entirely different player now. And, that's a thinly veiled way to say we all got bamboozled. We thought we were going to get this guy who was going to go for 30-point triple-doubles, and instead he just becomes a passenger, right? That's a soccer term. I know you're a big soccer guy, Tanner. Yeah. They're drivers and they're passengers. Inside the NBA had a great segment on it the other day when they were talking about if Durant was a driver or a passenger in Golden State. Harden was a passenger in Philadelphia. He wasn't even their best guard. Let's be clear. Tyrese Maxey was the best guard in this series. But if you want to talk about those numbers that I showed you, if you compare Harden's shot attempts per game in the series to the regular season against Simmons, they're extremely similar. How far their point averages fell off, extremely similar. If you want to take it to defense, Harden's matchup in this game was Strus, who finished with 20, 11, and 5 on 6 of 14. At least Ben Simmons guarded Trae Young, who led the league in points and assists, to 5 of 23 from the field. So you lost defensive integrity for this guy who didn't give you anything different on the offensive end. It's a total – both teams somehow lost this trade. This has to be the first trade in sports history where both teams came away worse for wear.
Oh, 100%. It looked really good when it happened for the Sixers. They thought it was going to be, their year and all that. Did not end up being the case. And the Nets had a really disappointing season too. I know Simmons didn't even step on the floor for them, but they were projected to win the Eastern Conference going into the season. That didn't happen, right? They were the favorites to win the finals too, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah. Brooklyn Nets versus Los Angeles Lakers.
Yep, there you go. Well, that was pretty bad predictions from Vegas right there. But anyways, yeah, just a good night for the Heat. But by no means did they play great. Like the Sixers just really didn't step up. Like you said, Joel Embiid wasn't great. Harden was scared to take a shot, right? Maxey's inconsistent. Still had, I believe, 20 points last night. But the Heat, Jimmy Butler, I mean, he's the story of this whole series. And, last night, I don't know if you saw the clip on Twitter after, but he's walking off the floor. He said, Tobias Harris over me. Tobias Harris over me. He was out there with something to prove, and I think he proved it in the series.
And he finally broke his national silence on why he left Philadelphia. He had a segment with JJ Redick on his podcast, who was also on the call for the Mavs game, by the way. Does an absolutely outstanding job, in my opinion. But basically what Butler had said was when he went in for his exit interview, when he was still a member of the 76ers, again, leading into that summer where he was going to be a free agent and he ultimately signed with the Heat. He went into that interview not knowing what was going to happen. And he said when he was saying that, he meant it completely truthfully. It wasn't, I intend on coming back. I intend on leaving. It wasn't, I intend on going to Miami. Miami wasn't even on his radar. He just didn't know if he was staying or not. And he said that he got the impression when he went in that they were going to force him out as quickly as possible. They wanted to keep Embiid. They wanted to keep Simmons. They wanted to keep Harris and go from there. And so when he gets on the press conference after the game or the post-game interview and says, I told Joel Embiid I loved him and I wished I was still on his team. You've got to be thinking, Philadelphia fans, first of all, they've got to be kicking themselves because they had Butler, and if it wasn't for Kawhi Leonard hitting one of the most miraculous jump shots of all time, they probably could have made it to the NBA Finals that year. But not only that, organizational incompetence that once defined Philadelphia when they were constantly tanking and getting all these big men with their early picks, the Jahlil Okafors of the world, the Nerlens Noels of the world, they had – after all that pain and suffering, they had a core they could have kept, and they chose the wrong guy. They kept Tobias Harris on the $200 million deal when the team is healthy, it looks like he struggles to score 15 points. Philly messed that one up bad.
Yeah, 100%. Just not good for Philly. They're likely going to have a new head coach, I think, next season. What do you think about that?
Well, I think if they do make that decision, I think Doc Rivers is going to be the top candidate for the Lakers, and that hurts my heart because I want LeBron to succeed, and I think Doc Rivers is a serial underachiever.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it mean for Philadelphia? I think the first call has to be Jay Wright. I mean, I know he just retired. He said he wants some time off, but he's from Pennsylvania. He's been coaching at Villanova for the past 20-something years. Hall of Fame coach, two-time national champion, two-time national coach of the year, said he wants to go to the professional ranks, was involved with Team USA, Popovich, Kerr. I think you have to give him a shot. I don't see another better candidate on the market right now, and he's just the guy that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I could see them extending an offer to him for sure, just with the Philadelphia roots and all that. Best comment here on TikTok so far that I've seen, at least, is James Harden's about to go gangster with his crew in the offseason. So that was pretty good. Okay, let's move into today's games here. We got Bucks, Game 6, must win for the Celtics, going to Milwaukee. I have Celtics money line at plus 102 today, 1.5 point underdogs of the Boston Celtics. Now, like we were talking before you got on the show, I don't know if you heard this when you're in the waiting room, but there's games that I'll bet because of a number, right? Like the Mavericks at plus 6. It's going to be tough for them to go into Phoenix, win a Game 7, right? But I like the number. I like 6. 1.5 really doesn't change my opinion either way. So this could be a homer pick for me being a Celtics fan, but at the same time too, it's not like it's even money either way. And they were saying how sharp money is going to move it versus, a casual bet or whatever. I think people are on the Bucks, people are on the Celtics. It's pretty split down the middle. What do you think?
Well, I have a couple of opinions here. First of all, I think you purchased the ugliest Celtics jersey that I have ever seen in my life. I think that is of the black ones and the green ones. I think you picked the worst one. I don't know why you got that one.
This is the City Connect one. This is like
it's the city trash. It's the worst one that I've seen in my lifetime. And the Celtics really weren't that creative to begin with. They've had the same jersey for as long as I can remember. So the fact that they somehow downgraded and you bought it, I think makes you a bit of a fool.
Classic. It's a classic jersey, Grant. It's classic. The Boston Celtics look is classic. The green is classic. It's not like the Los Angeles Lakers trying to like spice things up and all that with their jerseys. Come on.
They took a white background, Arial block, size 14 font, Boston Celtics, and that was it. That was all the effort they put into it.
Grant, you know what though? We're still in the playoffs. We're the Lakers. Did they make the playoffs? I don't think they did.
Hey, Tanner, listen, we're supposed to be objective here on the airwaves. My personal biases can be left off the air. So the Lakers, how do I feel about it? I don't care because I don't have any investment to them. But what do I think about this Celtics Bucks game? I think that there is, well, I wouldn't say there's a real argument as to why you should bet the Celtics because I think they've done a very good job of losing games they should have won. But when I say that, there is certainly an argument to be made that the Celtics have been the better team in this series. They've outplayed the Bucks in the majority of the quarters, and I think all but one game thus far. And it is 3-2 going to Milwaukee, which is a big concern. Celtics have not been great on the road in the playoffs, and they haven't been great in crunch time either. I know they bounced back with a win in Game 4, I believe it was, but I don't honestly see it happening again. I think the fact the Bucks managed to win that last game is just – it's one of those, Tanner, you're a former athlete. Sometimes you might not necessarily have a mental block, but you've just taken too big of a hit to bounce back from. And the fact that the Celtics had a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter, the Milwaukee closes it on a crazy tear. Giannis hits a 3. He's shooting 18% of the series, and he hits a 3 with a minute left to bring it to 3 points. Then you have Marcus Smart committing 3 turnovers in the final minute. Jrue Holiday hits the shot. Giannis goes there, makes the free throw, misses the next one. You have the rebound, drop it, give up the game-winning shot to Bobby Portis. That's so much just misery compounded onto you. And it's going to take, an absolutely Herculean bounce back from the Celtics, who, by the way, still cannot get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to have great games in big moments when it counts. Every once in a while they'll go off. They were going off against the Nets sometimes, but in those clutch games, it was one of them stepping up at the end. I mean, this series would be over, if we're being honest, if Al Horford didn't play the best game of his entire life. So On one hand, it makes sense as to why you should say the Celtics should win and probably should have already won the series. But at the same time, the fact it's 3-2 when you have all this as evidence as to why the Celtics should have won, it inherently tells you to take the Bucks. They just keep coming up with results, and that's the mark of a championship team. Can you win whether you're supposed to or not?
Yeah, we got some comments rolling in here. Celtics minus 6.5 alternate spread. Love that. When I look at the Celtics, Grant, I got a few things to say. First of all, it's been Jaylen Brown stepping up early. It's been Jason Tatum coming alive late. And we've said it all along, like they're not going to coexist. They're co-dominant, right? One's going to step up, one's going to take a back seat, right? Jaylen Brown has been the guy who steps up early. Jason Tatum's been the guy that steps up late if he steps up. Some of the shots Jason Tatum has taken early in these series, in these games, have been atrocious. Have you agreed with that? Like, have you seen, like, he's like shooting air balls right away. I'm like, come on now.
That's been my biggest criticism of Tatum, who I, by the way, campaigned to be the #1 pick in the draft. Obviously, he went third behind Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball, which in hindsight is baffling. But my biggest gripe with Tatum has been he purposefully seeks out the hardest shots he can. It's like he's trying to win. It's like he's playing NBA Street. He's trying to build up style points to get his game breaker. He'll have open pass to the hoop. He'll turn around for a fadeaway. You know, it's 21 seconds in the shot clock. He's pulling up for contested threes. The guy just honestly, his shot selection is so poor. And he's only shooting 38% in this series, by the way, which is horrible. And he had that great fourth quarter. But aside from that, he really has not made a super large impact in this series. And I think that is the biggest reason why the Celtics find themselves down.
Yeah, because it's Jaylen Brown is obviously a star, right? But Jason Tatum's the guy. If one guy needs to take over a game and be great the entire game, it's got to be Jason Tatum. And that's why I'm going to go over 42.5 on his PRA tonight, Grant. I'm going to do it because you know what? I'm betting on the Celtics, and I have this narrative in my head that Jason Tatum needs to step up, and he's going to step up in crunch time because he looked good getting on the plane yesterday with his Gucci bag, and I love Deuce Tatum and all that. Anyway, being honest here, big time players step up in big time games, in big time situations. This is exactly where this is why they pay Jason Tatum to step up tonight. So I'm going to go over 42.5 on his PRA. What do you think of that?
I'll be honest, I really like that one, even though I do think the Bucks are going to win the game. I think Tatum is going to show up. And even if he isn't efficient, I think because it's that do or die nature, I think he's going to be chucking up a lot of shots. What do we always say, especially in fantasy sports? Volume equals value. I think total over that PRA is really good. But simply, the Bucks have a Giannis. The Celtics don't. And that's why I've got the Bucks winning the game.
All right, I want to get your take on this before we move into the Warriors and Grizzlies game tonight. Anyone think some of these games were thrown just to extend the series? Coming in from JCon157. Now, I've had this debate with so many people. Going back to like when I first started on TikTok, people were like, oh, games are rigged. I'm like, okay, has there been point shaving in the past? Yes, in all sports. But I don't think games are rigged like people think they're rigged, because one guy's like sent me a message like, I've won $40,000 just fading the public. Like, no, you haven't, bro. Like, no, you have not done that like over like 3 weeks, he said. That's not true, because I saw a stat after the Celtics game the other night. It's like the team that wins game 5 has gone on to win, the team that wins game 5 has gone on to win the series like 82% of the time. So obviously a lot of those are being finished in 6 games. So is there point shaving going on, Grant, in our sports rigged?
Well, the reason that this is, I think, kind of a hot topic right now is a week or two ago, a former NBA referee came out and said that when games are 3-0, 3-1, the league will send memos to the referees saying, hey, you need to make sure you're watching for these things, which will favor the team that's down. So I think that kind of, got those rumors, those conversations back into circulation. I don't necessarily think that games are rigged. Well, I should be clear. I do not think games are rigged, and I don't necessarily think games are called to help the lesser team. I think games are called differently, game to game, even within a series, especially series to series, right? If we had the referee crew from this Bucks Celtics series doing, I don't know, the Grizzlies and the Warriors, everybody would have been fine. There would have been no ejections. Dylan Brooks flagrant 2 on Gary Payton, he would have been allowed to stay in the game, because those guys in Milwaukee and Boston are just letting anything go. So it is different depending on where it's going on, but I don't think, people are intentionally throwing the game.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm on the same train there with you. I think that's the craziest Like, yeah, obviously there's been point shaving, but overall, if teams just come out and make their shots, like if it comes down to the wire and they might need to shave a point or two, maybe, you never know. But at the same time, people are like, oh, the refs are betting on the game. All the refs have action. Like, no, they don't. That's like the 1 in a million. Like, I don't think every ref has action because you can go to jail for that. That's what I'm going to say. Golden State game. Did they give up or throw the game? We're going to talk about that right now here. Well, Grant, the Grizzlies were a 4-point dog at home, and they came out and they just blew the Warriors off the floor. It didn't seem like Golden State really wanted to play. The Stars only did 25 minutes because they were just getting dominated, right? You had, was it what Draymond Green was dancing with the crowd and all that before? They were just like, you know, like Steph Curry after the game was like, yeah, I appreciate the crowd tonight. Like, they really don't seem too concerned than when they were down 3-1 in that game. I think tonight it's going to be different. I'm going to take the Warriors at -8, but what's your thoughts on this game before we really start dissecting it?
My thoughts are, I think you and I have the same exact thoughts. I'm taking the Warriors at -8. I think they came out, they were in the game. It was 29-28. Memphis went on a run. They shut off. And, you know, they have so much championship experience. I think they were a little bit, you know, I don't want to say cocky, but maybe a little full of themselves. I think they thought they were going to win without much resistance, especially without John Morant in the lineup, even though we know the Grizzlies have been spectacular without him for some inexplicable reason. And once they went down big, I just think they didn't really have the mental fortitude within themselves. I don't think they were prepared to dig deep into there and, you know, try to come back from what ended up being a 55-point deficit. So was I surprised the Grizzlies won? Absolutely. I picked the Warriors to cover the spread in the last game. Do I think that bears an impact in this upcoming game? Not really. If anything, I think it's going to tell the Warriors, A, to be more motivated, and B, the Golden State's at home now. So you've got that. You know, it's going to be rocking in San Francisco. All the Warriors have to do realistically is make a few of their early threes, because if they get those shots falling, if they get their confidence going, the Grizzlies do not have the offense to keep up with them. The way they've been bothering the Warriors has been with their defense, aside from the game where Ja had 47 points. So Golden State comes out and wins the first quarter. Golden State wins by double digits.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, we got a nice little prop on here, though. The Grizzlies are 14-1 at beating the Warriors for the race to 5, 10, and 15 points from G Units. He's been riding this prop. I like that too, but again, at the same time, I mean, like the Grizzlies played the best game they were ever going to play. I mean, Desmond Bane, we found out he has a pulse, right? He scored. Jaren Jackson, Tyus Jones, and Bane all had 21. Grizzlies shot 43.9% from the three-point line. Like, they had a spectacular night. They're probably not going to repeat that on the road when the Warriors actually say, hey, we need to play basketball tonight. So I'm going to go Warriors -8. We got some props here. I think Desmond Bane is a interesting guy to talk about. 19.5 points. He's had 21 in the last game. Other than that, he really has been non-existent in this series. Would you go over or under on that?
Going under. He's a shooter with a back problem. Shooters with back problems usually don't do well. Going under. I like the guy too. I think you should have been in the running for most improved player. I thought it was awesome Ja gave him that award, but not his fault right now. He's hurt. His shot just doesn't look right. I'd go under.
All right, Steph Curry over 27.5. I'm going to ride the over on this one. I think if one player needs to step up, it's going to be Steph Curry, right? Klay Thompson has kind of taken that backseat role. Hasn't been great. We're going to talk about him in a minute here, but would you go over or under on Steph Curry?
Tanner, we're in a really good momentum here. I've got Steph Curry going over. I had him going over last game. He was well on his way, but he got yanked early because the deficit was so large. So he just has to do more of the same, to be honest. Until the last game, he was averaging 28 points a game in the series, so over.
Yeah, and then lastly here, Klay Thompson. I have him under 21.5 points. He's gone under in 4 of his past 5. When I look at Thompson, obviously a star player, he could pop off at any time. But like you said, we talk about consistency. He's been consistently under this total, right? So I got to go under, but it is kind of scary to me that he could pop off at any time.
Tanner, clean sweep. It is terrifying, but I would go under.
Yep, 100%. You can't go over with how he's been shooting the basketball. You can't.
Nope, you just can't. And the thing that's, we're talking about James Harden being a problem for the Sixers. Klay has a little more time on his contract, I believe, but he can't stay in front of anybody right now. And this is a guy who was so valuable because as an electric of a shooter as he was also an all-NBA defender, one of the best perimeter guards in the league. So the fact that he is a defensive liability now is a problem for Golden State going forward.
100%. Now we got the coach joining, Coach Craig. I don't want to be teaching right now. I need Mohegan Sportsbook right now. Let's go. We'll be there tonight doing some videos. with some Celtics fans. So very excited about that. Now, we got one more question here for you, Grant, or two more actually. Tyus Jones, PRA. I can look that up if you don't have it here. But over under on the total. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, my first thoughts are I've got to pull it up. So let's see what we got here.
So total is set at 218. I'll look at Tyus Jones for his PRA.
Okay, well, I've got it. Tyus Jones is at 26.5 for his PRA. I'm trying to do some mental math here. I would probably go under, to be honest. I think the Warriors are going to come out and they're going to make their threes. I don't think he's going to see a huge workload like he was. I think they're going to have DeAnthony Melton in there trying to apply some better perimeter defense a little bit. So I think his volume might be reduced a little bit. So I would go under. But if you think the Grizzlies are going to win, then you're probably going to go over. So really depends on where you're at.
Yeah, same thing with the total at 218. I think if the Golden State Warriors come out and shoot the basketball well, I think the Grizzlies fade in the second half and this doesn't get there. But again, it is a relatively low total when we think of the explosive, guys that are on both teams, really. So what would you say there?
Oh, you're not even making your pick. You're just dumping it on me.
Yeah, I'm dumping it on you. Because I'm not taking a side in this game. I'm not taking a total. I'm just going to take Grizzlies -8. I would probably say, based on my narrative, we talk about narratives. My narrative probably says under in this game. I think the Warriors come out, shoot well, but I don't think the Grizzlies do anything tonight, which means I'm probably going to go under.
I'm going under. I think the Warriors sort of beat them into submission.
Yeah, just like we saw, in a lot of these games, like teams are kind of close at the half. I don't think this game will be close to the half, but in the second half, the better team runs away with it. The other team folds, and that live total that, say a game's at 220 and that live total is at 230 going to the half, it just slowly fades down because the one team can't hang. So that's my take there. Going under. So Grant, give me a final thought for tonight's game. Give me your lock of the day when it comes to tonight's playoff games.
You asked me for this last time too. Tanner, you're not going to like it. My lock of the day is the Bucks are winning. They should not be up 3-2. Honestly, the series probably could be over for the Celtics, and it's not. You've given them too much space. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can't get on the same page at the same time. Giannis is increasing. He's increased his points in every game, I think, and he just went for 40 and 11. So you guys should be terrified. I've got the Bucks going to the conference finals where they should have no problems with the Heat. Got the Bucks in the finals on the back of a win tonight.
All right, I'm going Celtics money line, Grant, but it's always fun to have you on the show every Friday with Grant Mitchell. We talk basketball here, and we'll be talking about the Eastern and Western Conference finals next week. So very excited about that.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks for having me, Tanner.
Thanks, Grant. Appreciate it. All right, guys, so we're back here. We're going to go through my picks. I see a lot of comments rolling in about non-basketball picks, so just keep putting them up there. I'm not going to go back look through everyone because they're way, way up. We were talking to Grant for about 30, 40 minutes there. So make sure you go put your comments in now if you have questions on picks for today or what we're doing. I do want to show one thing first before we get into the picks. This is the ticket from yesterday. This is the ticket that caught a lot of attention. Now, I went 7-0 yesterday. I got to show it off, right? Because we went 7-0. One guy in our Discord took 6 picks, guys, 6 picks. He parlayed them 150 down to win $7,160. That's a hell of a night. Hell of a night there. Now, join our Discord, guys. That's the #1 place to interact with me, our community, our other content creators, and that's where this ticket came from. Send it right to me, so that was awesome to see, guys. Make sure you check that out. Tickets right here on the side of the screen, as you can see here. Hell of a night. Hell of a night. Also, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Join our TikToks. Also, we have merch, guys. Bet the Day merch, 3 Team Parlay Sports merch, so check that out. It's all coming in. We got a lot of other fun stuff coming when it comes to merch too. So make sure you get in on that. So that was the ticket, guys. Bet the Day for May 13th. Let's get into my best bets for the day. So just to recap basketball, like Celtics money line. Is that a homer pick? It could be. I'm not going to lie about that. But again, the Celtics have been in this series. We just talked to Grant about it. Al Horford needs to step up. He needs to be just as good as he has been, right? And you need something from Jason Tatum tonight. I also like his PRA at 42.5. Warriors, Grizzlies. I like the Warriors at -8. I think they come out tonight and just absolutely roll. I think the last game was a rarity. They were up 3-1, so they just packed it in for the night. All right, what do we want to talk? We want to talk hockey. Let's talk hockey. We got best hockey bet today. That's the comments right now. So we are going to talk hockey right now. What's the picks? The people don't want the picks. The people need the picks. Come on now. All right. So I got Flame Stars under 5.5 to start today. Now, When I look at the Flames and the Stars, it's minus 142. Do I really want to lay that? Not really. And if you don't want to lay that, my recommendation would be to go Flames on the puck line. But when I look at minus 142, a lot of people on here, and from what I've seen online, at least, a lot of you guys place parlays. You take my picks and you parlay them. You take other people's picks, you parlay them. You take your own picks and you parlay them, right? There's a lot of people out there that say parlays aren't the way to go. But if your unit size isn't massive, parlays are phenomenal, right? Because you can put a small risk down for a big reward. So with that being said, I will play this as a straight tonight, but I will also play it in a parlay. Flames versus Stars under 5.5. 4 of 5 games have gone under in the series, right? I think the Flames puck line's also good because they need to come out and win tonight. The one thing that concerns me about that is they are in Dallas. And being in Dallas in a must-win game for the Stars, it could be tough for the Flames to get the job done tonight. I'm not going to lie about that. But at the same time, I really like the under. There were 90-something shots on goal a couple games ago. 90-something shots on goal combined, and there were 5 goals scored. That's pretty impressive. That shows me that this game's going to get under. I say it on here every single day, guys. I say it every day. If the worst case scenario, in my opinion, is going to be 4-2, I'm going to go under all day long. Even though the over's plus money, 4-2 is the worst case scenario, and that's how this game gets over. In no world, and now, I don't want to jinx it right now, but in no world can I see this game getting to 5-3. To 5-2. It's 4-2 worst case, so I'm going to go under. Opinion on the Rangers game. We're going to talk about that right now here. I think this is a really good bet, and I think the Penguins money line at plus 100 is a solid bet. We know Sidney Crosby's got the upper body injury. We don't know if he's going to play or not play tonight. I see him not playing tonight. I think they're going to give him one day off and see if they can win without him. If they got to go to game 7, they go to game 7 and he will play. But personally, I don't think he's going to play tonight. The Penguins have been terrific in the series. Now, Sidney Crosby sets a different tone when he's on the ice, but the Penguins have been really, really good behind Jake Guentzel and Chris Letang. Those guys have led the charge in this series, and they've made Igor so uncomfortable in the net, it's not even funny. Igor's been really, really good throughout the year against the Penguins, but in this series, he has been so shaky. With that being said, the Penguins are at home. They are outscoring the Rangers in 2 games. 2 games at home, people. They're outscoring the Rangers 14-6. It's hard to argue against those stats. Now, I know Sidney Crosby may or may not be there. Even without Sidney Crosby, though, tonight, they're outscoring them 14-6. They have a chance to close out a series. We saw it last night with the Blues and the Wild, right? The Blues had a chance to close out the series at home against the Wild. They got a little momentum, and they started turning it on. I see the same thing happening with the Penguins tonight. Now, if Sidney Crosby plays, great. How effective is he going to be? I don't know. I genuinely think he doesn't play. But at the same time, people, how can you argue with that? Plus 100 for a team that's outscored them 14-6 at home with an opportunity to close out a series. What's your guys' take on that? Can the Penguins get the job done with Sidney Crosby? Let's answer some YouTube comments here. BP311. Bucks money line minus 121. Drew Holiday over 25.5 at plus 100. 2 straights. I like that. But I'm on the Celtics, so I can't say that. But if you're on the Bucks, I imagine Drew Holiday is going to step up. The defensive plays he made down the stretch there were just sensational. So Drew Holiday is going to be a factor. All right, let's see here. All right. Best hockey bet today. Flames over 5.5, pinning on Rangers. Midwest Mike has the over in the Flames. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a few cappers that I follow and talk to, but I'm me. I don't look for other people's picks. I don't watch other people's content that much. So I can't really make an opinion on Midwest Mike. I have never watched him before. But on top of that, guys, for me, when I'm thinking of this series, the only reason I could see over in my head is if you're playing a number and it's plus money for the over. If there's been so many games going under, I can't play the over. When there's 90-something shots on goal and I see 4, I see 4 or 5 goals scored, I can't do that. Can't do that at all. If anyone, we should take the under now. I'm rocking yes. They're at 104 on FanDuel. Who's at 104? Oh, the over's at 104? Let me see. Now, I've been using Caesars, guys, on here. That's my favorite book, but let me look at FanDuel. All right, so the over is at over 5.5 plus 112. The under is now at minus 138. So I got it at 142. It's at 138. So it's creeping down now. People are probably just taking a chance on the over. It's an elimination game, right? The Stars. This is another reason I could see the over hitting too. But it's an elimination game, right? They need to score. The Stars need to score. They're going to pull goaltenders early. that could get this game over. But at the same time, too, this could be 1-0, 2-0 going into the third period, right? And it could be 2-0 for the Stars, too. It could be 1-0 for the Stars. Based on what we've seen in this series, I can't trust the over, even for plus money. So Midwest Mike, I've never watched him, but he's probably got some valid thoughts behind that because they might pull the goaltenders early, but I just can't trust it. 20-1 this week in my MLB system plays. The system's unbelievably easy, trying to help people out. The system, 20-1. It's pretty impressive, 20-1. I think that's the system might just be having a really good week. 21 is pretty tough to do. Pens, Rangers minus 104. Okay, so I got them early at plus 100. Okay, so even money, double your money. It's minus 102 on FanDuel currently. Caesars has it about the same thing here. Let me check on Caesars. And whatever book you're using, guys, it's gonna be minus, it's gonna be plus 100 to minus 105, right? It's not gonna be that much of a difference. Now, I will say this: if you like the Penguins, I would get them right now before Sidney Crosby returns, because with Sidney Crosby, money's going to come in on the Penguins, going to move that line up probably closer to minus 108, minus 110. So you're giving up a few bucks there. Like I said, Guentzel and Letang are good enough to lead this team to the promised land, considering how uncomfortable the Penguins have made Igor in the net. But with that being said, too, it could be a night where the Penguins fold and say, hey, you know what? We got a game 7. We'll get Sidney back. We'll be good to go. I don't see that happening. I see them outscoring them again tonight. I see them winning this game 5-1, 5-2, just like we saw in the Wild series. Okay, let's see. All right, I want to hear about this. You take both teams minus 1.5 and minus 1.5 alternate run line. The odds that they are given out are insane. Last week, 30-9. Yeah, well, yeah, baseball, baseball. Run line bets are great in baseball because you can get a heavy favorite for plus. You get the Yankees yesterday for plus 150, plus 160 on the run line, plus 170 even in that range. You can get them today with Garrett Cole on the mound for a decent number too. I'll look at that right now. Let's see here. Let's see. You can get them with Garrett Cole for minus 108. So that's not great, but they're on the road today too. So factor that in. But today you can get the Rangers over the Red Sox at minus 1.5 or plus 168. You can get the Braves over the Padres at plus 140. And the way baseball works, yeah, there's a lot of close games, right? You never take heavy favorites in baseball. You never take heavy favorites. I can't do that. Like, for example, there's no value today playing the New York Mets over the Mariners on the money line, unless you're doing it in a parlay, right? But for minus 230, for you to have to lay $230 just to win $100 on the Mets, knowing they're probably not going to sweep the Mariners because sweeps are so tough to do in baseball, it's not worth that at all. It's better to put some money on the dogs, honestly, when you're playing a number. But anyway, so that's my take on the Rangers and the Penguins game. Any questions there? Let me know, guys. If not, we will move into the next game here for the NHL. I do not have a play in this Panthers-Capitals game. I really don't. Now, the Panthers have a chance to close out the series tonight in Washington. This is a must-win game for them. Prize Picks is great. I do love Prize Picks. I missed your Rangers take. What's the baseball locks? Okay, well, go back to the Rangers really quickly. So basically, the Rangers take was, guys, that Sidney Crosby is not on the ice. Let's say he's not on the ice, because my take is if I'm a GM, if he's not able to play tonight, I'm not going to force him on the ice tonight, knowing I have a game 7. Now you got to go back to New York and win a game 7, which isn't going to be easy. But with that being said, Letang and Guentzel are good enough to win this game for the Penguins tonight, good enough to lead the charge. They've made Igor uncomfortable all series. That didn't happen in the regular season. Igor looks like a different goaltender against the Penguins right now in a bad way. I think they're going to be just fine tonight for plus 100 at home with the chance to close out the series. They will be just fine, people. They will be just fine. Could you go through them once more and said and done? Yeah. So right now, all I have is we've talked Celtics money line. I like Jason Tatum 42.5 PRA tonight. I like the Warriors at -8. Flame Stars under 5.5. Again, minus 142. I don't love that, but based on what we see in the series, I don't hate it either. And then Penguins money line at plus 100. Okay. So that's what we're going with there. We got that. What's the baseball locks? We'll move into baseball here in a minute. Rangers, we got that. Okay. So let's talk about this Panthers-Capitals game. Listen, if you're going to take the Panthers, the only value here I think is minus 1.5 at plus 130. Capitals going to be pulling goaltenders tonight. I think the over 6.5 at minus 140 is also very, very good here. You can't argue with that, right? The Capitals are going to be pulling goaltenders, and there's shots on the net in this series. Like we look at the Flames and the Stars. The Stars need to win tonight. They might pull a goalie early, but there hasn't been pucks on the net, so I can't trust it to get into a position where it's going to go over late in the game. I trust that the Panthers and Capitals are going to have 5-6 goals going to that third period just because of how these series have gone. The Capitals can't blow a lead. This is a game you might want to take a risk on the Capitals at plus 150. It's very unpredictable bet. When I bet, I like to bet something that I know and I trust. I can't trust the Capitals. But if you want to take a risk, plus 150 for a team with their backs against the wall that's proven they can beat the Florida Panthers, you might want to do it, right? The critical thing that the Capitals need to do tonight is play great in the defensive zone, because the Panthers are only good when they're scoring, but they're so explosive that they can go down and come back. And that's what scares me. And that's what we saw in the last game of the series. Next time going to Mohegan, we'll be at Mohegan tonight. We'll be at Mohegan tonight for interviews and doing all that for the Celtics game. So we'll be there. We're going to be there around 5:00 to start. We're going to be doing some fun video, hidden camera stuff. And then we're going to move in. We're going to do interviews in the sports book and stuff. So if you're around, come hang with us. You can obviously tell who we are. We'll have the 3 Team Parlay mics and stuff. So we'll be at the casino. If you want to get interviewed, just show up to Mohegan night. We'll get your takes on Celtics game. We're really going to be there for the Celtics. Trying to get the crowd going a little bit, get some good content, but we'll be there. I'll be there for a Lamb of God show, but placing my bets beforehand. We'll be there at 5:00. We'll probably be around the sportsbook area. So, come up, say hi to us. Okay. Let's see here. Any other comments there? Cool. All right. Yeah. So we got that, guys. So my take there, I have the Rangers to lose tonight. I like the Penguins at minus 102. I like the, if I had to take a pick in the Panthers Caps game, it's over 6.5, but again, minus 140. I don't love that. I'd rather take the under in the Flame Stars game for 5.5, which I'm going to do. Okay. The picks, we've been given the picks, guys. We're moving into baseball now. Wow, we're already at an hour, guys. We're rolling here. All right, BP311 coming in here. And guys, check out BP311, does daily sports picks, does a podcast with some guys in our Discord as well. So gotta love it. Check out his YouTube channel. Let's see. I've lost on overs in the series 2 or 3 times. I played it. You know what, Brian? It could hit. Like honestly, they're professional hockey players, right? So it could hit. But at the same time, too, I just, based on what we see in the series, it's hard for me to go over there. Flames should win. 100% Flames should win. Just being in Dallas kind of scares me. But if you like a play in this game, if you believe in the Flames, because Dallas can't score. If the Flames get up on Dallas, they're going to have a tough time scoring goals. Flames, I agree with Flames should win. That's why a puck line bet there is fine. I would rather play the under, though, and just get a win under my belt, because what we've seen in the playoffs. And honestly, we've had this is game 6 tonight. We've had 5 games. 4 of them have gone under. So when we look at sports betting, right, we look at sports betting wins over time. I can't don't put your house on the under tonight because 4 games have gone under. I played this consistently throughout the series. So if I lose this under bet tonight in my world, based on what I've done, right, I'm fine with that, because when I look at this bet, when I look at the long-term growth of this bet, it's been hitting, right? So if we had 6 games and I've hit the under 4 times, I've hit the under, say it loses tonight, I hit the under 4 times, I'm still up on this bet. So I can't really get mad. I'm going to take the under. It's been working for me. I'm going to ride it. Yo, sup, Tanner? Das Diggity, how we doing? Das, the strikeout props were not my best work yesterday, but Dylan Cease did crush it, so that was good to see. Okay, let's see here. Brewers and Rockies. Yeah, guys, drop the baseball questions. Brewers, Rockies, money line. There's 3 games, 7s in NHL and 2 in NBA. I know it's very, very exciting. Already 2 in NBA, and we might have more after tonight. Under 69. That's funny. That was a funny joke, bud. Okay, so Red Sox money line tonight versus the Rangers. Why am I going to go with the Red Sox? Let me get to my picks, guys, and I'll get to yours. Do I think the Celtics can win the series? Of course I think they can win the series. I'm a Celtics fan. The city is filled with fighters. This team's going to fight. Here's how the Celtics win the series, though. Jason Tatum needs to be big tonight. He needs to step up. Al Horford needs to be as good as he has been. I think the Celtics have proven they can go to Milwaukee and win a basketball game. Do I think they're going to win? Yeah, because they know if they win this game, they get to go back to Boston for game 7 on Sunday. And that's a pretty good scenario. It's not like they're in a must-win game 6 at home and then they got to go to Milwaukee. That's going to be draining. Knowing if they get the win tonight and they know they can go back to Boston for game 7, how can you argue with that, people? That's the crowd's going to be rocking. I haven't heard TD Garden this loud in a long time between the Bruins and the Celtics. Game 7s in Boston are special. They got to get the job done, though, at first tonight. All right. We're going to move into baseball here after I answer these basketball questions. The people don't want the picks. People need the picks. All right. Man of the people here. Tanner Kern's answering everything. Why the Celtics are winning the chip. What are those odds right now? Go look them up, guys. I don't have them in fractional. I'll get them. Why not? Man of the people here. Man of the people trying to get to everyone. You really want to get in on future bets earlier than this, though, because that's just the way it works. Like Boston's plus 1,000. That's a pretty good deal. But again, you want to get that tonight, because if you don't get that tonight and they go to game 7, it'll drop to like 800. So you're going to give up $200 on a $100 bet there. Reds money line, maybe. I don't know. I just don't love the odds today. Let's see. I don't know why Marcus Smart is taking the final shot. Give the ball to Brown or Tatum. 100%. The chip odds right now. And why do you guys say chip? A lot of people say chip. I say ship, like the ship. We're going with ship. A lot of people say chip, though. I don't know. Golden State Warriors plus 210. Suns plus 310. Like, no value on that. Heat plus 380. Bucks plus 400. There's value there. Celtics plus 1,000. Mavericks plus 2,100. I think Celtics at plus 1,000 obviously is the best bet out of all those. Let's see. I caught them at 2,200. I love that. Like, yeah, now you can hedge. Like, when you're placing future bets for NBA, NHL, all that stuff, MLB, you want to place one early, and then you want to place one where you can hedge that bet and make your money back and then some. That's what I usually do with futures. I think plus 1,000, it's a good bet on the Celtics. Is it worth it to me? Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be just fine, but they got a lot of games to win moving forward. So plus 1,000, I would rather got it at 2,200. I would rather got it at, better odds. Why not the Mavs at plus 2,100 going to game 7 against the best team left? Yeah, I mean, guys, listen. Yeah, Mavericks will be fine. Mavericks will be fine, but then you know what? They got to go beat the Warriors, okay? And then they got to beat the Celtics, the Bucks. I don't see the Heat winning that next series. So they got a lot of work, but 2,100 is not bad. But you could have got the Mavericks for so much better back in the day. So it's like you're showing up, you're betting the number at the wrong time. That's my take. Now, if you want to hedge with them or something, go for it. Let's see here. I caught them at plus 2,200. Damn, I'm late. That's all good, man. I'll go through my picks at the end here again. All right, baseball time. We all love baseball. Boston going home, Tanner Das. I just flipped back from my sports book to this page, and I saw that comment, and that really hurt my feelings, and I don't appreciate it. But anyways, I think they win tonight. I think they get the job done. We'll be at Mohegan Sun tonight rallying the troops. So if you're a Celtics fan, come out, say hi. Damn, I'm late. We got that comment in. Let's get into baseball. Red Sox money line. Yes, I'm going with all Boston today. Why? Because I think the Red Sox are back. Not that they're back. I think they're slowly crawling back to life a little bit. I think they got some hope now. Nick Pivetta is coming off a great performance. Here's my biggest thing, guys. When you're betting, don't just go through and look at the front page. Don't just look at the first page of stuff, right? Don't do it. McNasty from Nasty Sports always says, he's like, don't look just the first page of Google. Look to the second, the third, the fourth, right? You look at Red Sox. Nick Pivetta has been horrendous this year, but he's coming off a sensational performance. He went 6 scoreless against the White Sox. There you go. All right. White Sox aren't the best hitting team in baseball, but he still went 6 scoreless, and that is a win. Now let's look at Trevor Story. Don't just look at Trevor Story's stats for the whole year. Look at what he's done the past 2 games. He's 3-9 in his past 2 games. He hit his first homer as a Boston Red Sox, and he has 4 RBIs. Kind of feel like the monkey's being lifted off his shoulders, right? So with that being said, if Trevor Story can now produce like a 3 of 9, with 4 RBIs and 2 home run, right? If he can do that, do those numbers, he's going to be fine. If he can join JD, Devers, and Bogarts, who are hitting the baseball, they're going to be just fine. If Nick Pivetta can put together a decent outing against a very bad hitting Rangers team, I think they're going to be fine tonight. At plus 100, double your money there. I think that's a very good bet on the Red Sox going on the road tonight to play the Rangers with Dane Dunning on the mound. Dane Dunning can get hit. I don't think he's a bad pitcher, but he can get hit. This Red Sox front 3 with Devers, Bogarts, and JD is good. Now you add Story in. If he can start doing something, they're going to be fine. The Red Sox went to Atlanta and gave the Braves everything they could handle. They won 1 game. They hit the crap out of the ball, right? They lost another one, but still, they still scored runs. There was still offensive productivity. They were still okay with runners in scoring position. That's the little wins I need to see to be confident in betting on the Boston Red Sox. Sorry, Tanner. This is Giannis era now. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Don't count out the Celtics, baby. Don't count out the Celtics. It's all about the C's. Come on now. Do you have Twitch? No, we don't have Twitch, but we should probably get on Twitch and start streaming on there. We do stream on YouTube. I know a lot of people watch on Twitch, but I've never really been much of a Twitch guy, but we can get on there. We can create an account and stream to Twitch as well. We're on YouTube. Links in the description to find our YouTube, but we'll get on Twitch. We can also do some live stream and some video game live stream stuff on Twitch as well, which is cool. Okay. How are you liking the Astros? 10-game streak, 5 of them shells. The Astros have been very, very, very impressive. Very impressive. I have one more personal play for MLB, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But the Astros have been very, very good. They've been fun to watch. They got the tonight. Who they got tonight? They have the Nationals tonight. Minus 154, I think, is a very good deal with Framber Valdez on the mound. I wouldn't lay that. I'd lay minus 1.5 at plus 108 tonight. But again, the scariest part about this Nationals team, they're explosive when they do hit. I don't think, and the biggest thing I recommend when we're talking about these streaks, we're talking about these, 10-game winning streaks, whatever, any winning streak. We talk about with the Yankees. They're bound to lose at some point. Don't just bet them because they're bound to lose. Bet the matchup. That's my biggest recommendation there, because people can be bound to lose for 5-6 games and then they still whip off another 3-4 wins, right? So you're hurting yourself there. That's my recommendation. Bet the matchup. The matchup today with Framber Valdez versus Josiah Gray. JoJo is their ace for the Nationals, but at the same time, Framber Valdez is very good. He will be the guy in the future when Justin Verlander ultimately retires at minus 154. I like it in a parlay at minus 1.5 at plus 108. I like it as a straight. Prize picks. We can start doing some prize pick stuff, guys. I'll post some prop plays. I haven't really, I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't really been big on props lately because I've just been, there's so many sports going on. So I've been trying to hammer straights in every sport, but prize picks is a great, great bet. Okay. Let's see here. Damn, I'm late. How are you liking the Astros? We got that. Thank you. I enjoy watching the streams. Over for the Astros, I need some prize picks. Yankees money line today. Reds money line. Blue Jays money line. Dodgers, Mets, Braves, Brewers. Would it be easier to use a pop-up system that allows you to type all the picks so you don't have to go back? Well, so if you guys, the problem is, guys, we're on TikTok here. So you're looking at this camera. My YouTube camera's up here. So if you go on YouTube, all the picks are on there. We got, we're talking about picks and all that. We can put those in. But at the same time too, just go back and you can go right on the personal page, the personal TikTok page for Bet the Day, and you can find all the picks. I haven't posted them yet today, but they will be up. They'll be up right after the show. All right, so Cubs, D-backs. D-backs on the money line. Are the D-backs really good? Oh, I got to get to Everett's question. Everett's on here every day. Celtics plus 5.5, Warriors minus 4. I like that a lot. I think a teaser there is good. Those odds will probably be plus 110, plus 100 in that range. So I do that. I got you. Wasn't aware of YouTube. No problem, guys. Just YouTube. We're on all these social networks. So just go check out the link in the description. You can find all our social links. But yeah, so we got Cubs versus D-backs today. D-backs on the money line. I'm really a big fan of the Diamondbacks. They've won 17 games. They're 17-15. They play in a tough division. Arizona's been really, really impressive this year, and they've hit 13 more home runs than the Cubs. I like a couple things in this matchup. Drew Smyly's going to pitch for the Cubs. He gives up home runs. The Diamondbacks win games offensively with home runs. Zach Davies is pitching against his whole team today. He needs to shove. He needs to locate. He needs to be better than he's been locating pitches. He can't walk as many batters. But at the same time, too, Arizona has a superior bullpen. So when I look at it, I think Drew Smyly is going to give up a couple bombs early, and then hopefully the Diamondbacks bullpen can shut the door late. Minus 130 there. Let's see if it's shifted at all. Let's see. It's minus 126 now, so even better odds, guys. Hopefully that can creep down a little more. I really do like that bet today. I think that's a great parlay piece. I think that's a great straight piece. Scherzer strikeout props. Let's look. Scherzer strikeout. The people need your thoughts on Caps Panthers, please. I'll go back to that game in a minute. Let me just finish up with baseball here, and then we'll give you guys time to ask your final questions. So Scherzer strikeout props today. Let me see. Do you have what number? Do you have the number there at? Scherzer is at 7.5 or plus money. Okay. See, the thing about Scherzer is he was really good early, and he has had a few bad starts. So just keep that in mind. Just because it's Max Scherzer, just because that name, don't just go over on the strikeout props because you're going to get hurt. So he's had 7, 9, 10, 10, 7. Okay, he did 7 and 9 against the 2 back-to-back starts against the Phillies. Knowing the Mariners aren't that great of a hitting club, I just think 7.5 is a lot, and a lot can go wrong. That's a number that I fade. I'll fade that 100%. Yes, he's gone over in 3 of his past 5. He's been close on the others, but I could see him at 7 strikeouts tonight, and that's a really good night. But 7.5 is just a very juiced line right there. I'm going to stay away from. That would be my take. I think there's probably better options on the board there for you. Hey man, what's up? I'm late today. No problem. We're going to go back through all the picks. So guys, that's all my picks for the day. I'll give you right now. Then we'll go back. I'll talk about the Rangers game again. But we got Celtics money line, Warriors -8, Flame Stars under 5.5. Also, don't mind Flames puck line. Haven't played it yet. If I do play it, I'll let you know. Penguins money line, Red Sox money line, D-backs money line. And that's the plays today. We're 7-0 yesterday. Let's see if we can do it again today. Vince Velasquez, 5+ strikeouts is +114. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Let's see what Vince Velasquez has done. But guys, don't just chase the number when it comes to strikeouts. Don't just chase the odds when it comes to strikeouts. Like Vince Velasquez shoved against the Red Sox, I believe, his last start. Yeah. But he just, he only had 2 Ks. He's had 2, 6, 6, 5, 2. So that's his alternate strikeout total. If that's his alternate for plus money, I bet he's at 4.5 tonight. 4.5. Yeah, I mean, he's at 4.5 or 3.5. I mean, I honestly, against the New York Yankees tonight, I could see it happening, but I also have this fear that Vince Velasquez gets shelled. Like, listen, we look at what happened. We look at what happened last night with Dylan Cease, right? Dylan Cease was good enough to stay in the game and battle. Is Vince Velasquez really? If Vince Velasquez starts giving up home runs, he might not be in there that long. Encouragement was, see, really think Celtics? I do. As a diehard fan, that's scary. I mean, guys, listen. Yes, I'm a Boston fan. I'm a Boston fan. Last night, I said about the Bruins, I said they're going to win this game. They did. Do I think they're going to win in Game 7? No, because they haven't proven to me they can win in Carolina. When I talk about the Celtics, I believe they can go in and win a game night because they need to do it. They have Jason Tatum. They have a big-time player. They've found ways to limit Giannis throughout the series and be in positions to win games. Did the Celtics really, or let me phrase this differently. Did the Bucks really win that game, or did the Celtics give them the game? That's what I'm going with. I think they can go in and win a game knowing they can get back to Boston for a Game 7. All right, yes, Panthers, Caps. We want Panthers, Caps. Here's my thoughts on the Panthers and the Caps. I think if you're going to bet a number in this game, it's going to be the Caps, obviously. I think they have tremendous value. With that being said, it scares me that the Panthers can come back 3 goals and easily strike, right? The Panthers have a chance to close out a series tonight, but they got to go on the road. I think the Capitals probably can win this game. But again, based on what I've seen, it scares me that they're going to fall apart. There's no value on +1.5 in this hockey game tonight. So if you see +1.5 or -156 and you think it's a good deal, it's not, because they're going to pull goaltenders early. If they're going to lose, they're going to lose by 2. So here's my take. If you like the Panthers personally, I'd play them on the puck line at +130. If you like the Capitals, I'd play them money line at +150. That's my take there. And then the over of 6.5 is good. I think they're going to be in a position. This game's going to be in a position to go over in the third period. So I think that's fine. But for -140, I don't love it. But I'm going to play the Flames and the Stars for under 5.5 at -138 because I feel very confident that those teams can play good defense. And even when we get to the third period, when goalies start being pulled, I still think we'll have 3 goals, hopefully 2 to 3 goals of leeway to work with when goalies start getting pulled by the Stars, most likely, because I think the Flames do win that game. Any other questions, guys? Throw them in the chat. If not, we will sign off here. So I believe that was about the Celtics, right? Yeah. I mean, I genuinely don't think the Bruins will win tomorrow night. And I'm going to say that as a Boston fan. I'm not going to be unrealistic. Will I bet the Bruins? I could. I'm not going to tell you guys that, though, to bet the Bruins. I'm going to do it because I'm watching the game and I want to be a fan and have a little action on it, root for my team. Will I bet Carolina? No, I'm not going to bet against my team in a Game 7, right? So that's my take there. Like tomorrow when I come on here, there's no way I'm going to tell you guys, hey, bet the Bruins, and say this is a lock, because it's not. They're going to have a tough time going to Carolina tomorrow and win the hockey game. But that doesn't mean I won't bet it, but I might just put a little money on it for fun because I'm a fan. But like when I give you guys picks, I ain't going to give you Bruins money line tomorrow. I guarantee you that right now. Confidence on Mets money line today. Yeah, I mean, I think they should get the job done today. The Mets have been a little shaky as of late. But when I look at them today with Scherzer on the mound against the Mariners, who don't really hit the ball, Marco Gonzalez is a decent pitcher. But again, I think the Mets have proven, the Mets have earned my trust this year. I think the under is a decent play with Scherzer and Gonzalez on the mound. In the way the Mets have been hitting lately, haven't been super authoritative at the plate. So that's what I'd go with. All right. Bets one more time. I have my pen ready. Okay. Bets one more time. I have my pen ready. Rockies or Kansas City. Rockies are inconsistent. Yeah. I mean, I think that game the best bet could be on over 10.5. I think, honestly, in that game. Can you just read your bets real quick? Yes. Get the pens ready, boys. Get the pen, boys and girls. Get the pens ready. Celtics money line. Okay. Warriors -8. Flame Stars under 5.5. Penguins money line. Red Sox money line. D-backs money line. Got it. What's your favorite parlay lock across all games? A parlay lock. It depends what odds you're looking for. If you want a lock, I think the best bet is the Golden State Warriors at minus 375. But again, I don't know what you're trying to boost that parlay with. But yeah, I think the Warriors are the one team that, I know probably will win outright tonight at home. Celtics money line. Yeah, I like Celtics money line tonight. That's what I'm on. I wouldn't say that's a lock by any means, but I think it's a good bet. Flame Stars under 5.5. I would say, yeah, I'm on the under in this game. But at the same time, too, people, when we look at the under in this game, goalies will start getting pulled early by the Stars if they're not in a position to win the game. So for us wanting the under, here's what we need. We need the Dallas Stars to be winning this hockey game like 2-0 going into the third period. If we could get that, we got a chance. But again, 4 out of 5 games have gone under in this series. So I'm going to take the under. Need a quick, easy parlay, not throwing a lot on it. I'll post parlays on the channel, guys. I'll post them on the chat. I got to sign off here, guys, and get some other stuff done when it comes to TikTok videos and all that. So I'll sign off here. I'll post my picks right now on the channel. Get you guys those set up, get you guys ready to go with those, and then I'll post some parlays a little later. Games don't start till later, so we got a little time, guys. Let's relax. CJ Presley coming in here. People don't want the picks, Tanner. People need the picks. Damn right they do. They asked for them 15 different times, guys. And I know it's hard because people are hopping in and out of the stream, but yeah, we'll try to figure out a solution to get these picks. Like maybe I could just hang them right here. Maybe just hang them right above me so we can try to figure that out for you guys. But yeah, great show today, guys. I'm going to sign off here. Remember, we were sensational yesterday. Let's see if we can do it again today. This is a shout out to J Money. Just want to give him one more shout out here from our Discord chat. If you're not in our Discord, guys, make sure you join it here. J Money put 6 out of 7 my picks down in a parlay for $150 and won 7,000, right? 7,100. So that was pretty impressive. Everett, I'll see you later. Thanks for joining. Make it rain 2 days in a row. Let's go. Make it rain 2 days in a row. I appreciate it, guys. We're going to sign off here, but it was a great day. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, guys. Check out our store. Merch links in the description on YouTube. It's in the bio on TikTok, all that stuff, guys. And then join our Discord, join us on TikTok. And that does it for the show. Hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Another episode, 10 a.m. Let's go. Go Celtics.